I hastily became a stay-at-home husband, caught in the clutches of my wife's dominance over the family. Having money on me made it easy to fall prey to scams, so she took away all of my assets. When I wanted to buy an 8,000 yuan flight ticket to bring my daughter, who was studying abroad, home, she immediately became furious. "You think 8,000 is just some windfall?" she said. "When I want something, I take it." And no matter the cost, she would find a way to return home. The hard-earned money I made wasn't meant to be squandered by you to the father and daughter. However, my daughter was studying in a country with terrible public safety. In the end, tragedy struck. It was only when I received the death notification from the embassy that my wife's old flame was standing in front of a villa, posting a selfie. Thanks to someone who chartered a plane to send me back to the country. Such is the charm of a domineering female CEO. Even the cheapest gift she gave was a grand villa. That villa, located in the heart of the city, was worth a staggering 8,000 square meters. I no longer questioned her like I used to, but simply left a calm comment beneath her post. "From now on, your money and your people will all belong to you." Just after posting that comment, the embassy notified me to go to the hospital to collect my daughter's body. With trembling hands, I lifted the cloth covering her face. I almost fainted. That sweet little face was marred with deep, jagged scars. Her pelvis was shattered, and her hands were twisted in a grotesque position at her sides. I leaned against the hospital wall, like a suffocating fish gasping for air. "Your daughter suffered." I gripped my hair in agony, trembling with pain. The coroner sighed. "Don't worry, Interpol is already investigating." I nodded numbly and began to handle my daughter's affairs. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. The caller was my wife, someone both strange and familiar. Liu Ryan. A pang of sorrow hit my chest. Anger and grievance had been simmering inside me all afternoon. Before I could respond, Liu Ryan's impatient voice echoed in my ears. "Are you sick? What's with the comment on Zhang Wu's WeChat moments? We have so many mutual friends. And you're embarrassing him like this? We grew up together. How unsafe is it for him to return alone from abroad? I only booked him a private jet, not bought a plane for him." Who are you trying to impress with this sarcastic tone? You better get back here and apologize to Zhang Wu, or Shishi's living expenses for next semester will be halved. Listening to Liu Ryan's words, as sharp as beans falling from a bull, I felt my whole body tremble uncontrollably. Zhang Wu was 28, yet he still worried about being alone. But his own daughter, Shishi, was only 10. She had traveled alone across most of Europe on a green leather train to return home. Shishi had been sent abroad to study from a young age by Liu Ryan. She said it was for her to receive elite education, so she could inherit the company in the future. To foster Shishi's independence, Liu Ryan only gave her just enough allowance to barely fill her stomach. Behind her back, I provided more for our daughter, but she, using the excuse that a stay-at-home husband is easily scammed, took away all my assets. In the end, I didn't even have enough money to book a direct flight ticket for Shishi to come back home. And to prevent me from booking a ticket for Shishi, she snapped my credit card in half, took away my phone, and locked me in the house for 3 days. 3 days later, the nanny let me out, and I immediately rushed to find my phone. It was full of messages from Shishi. From the beginning, she told me she had safely boarded the train. Then, after passing through the transit country, she said she got lost at the transit station and didn't know what to do. Then she told me a few foreign men had been following her, and she felt really scared. By the end, Shishi's voice was trembling with tears, saying that she had been taken by those foreign men. She cried out in despair, "Mom, Dad, do you not want me anymore? Why are you ignoring me? I'm so scared. Please save me." My heart felt like it was being torn apart, and I couldn't summon the courage to listen any longer. I was locked in the house, unable to leave, while my daughter was being tortured in a foreign land. And what was she doing? She was busy booking Jong-woo a private jet and organizing a welcome banquet for him. She was busy buying him a villa. She really was so busy. What right does she have now to question me? My voice trembled with rage, shattering with emotion. Apologize to your mother. There was silence on the other end of the line for a moment, before a voice cracked through. Huo Yao, did I give you face or not? You've made me very unhappy today. Shiji's allowance will be cut to a third. If she goes hungry next semester, I'll tell her it's all your fault. The air seemed thick with the sound of a broken heart. She no longer loved me, and her love for our daughter had long lost its intensity. But she knew exactly how to manipulate these two people she no longer cared for. I cried and laughed uncontrollably. My voice twisted and eerie. Ha ha ha! Money! Shishi doesn't need your money anymore. At the transit stop on her way back, she was taken and tortured by several foreign men. She's already dead. Keep your money, because one day when you get struck by lightning, I'll make sure to burn it all for you. At this point, Liu Ryan's voice was no longer cracking, but frantic and enraged. Huo Yao, are you trying to die or what? What is this nonsense you're spouting? Are you jealous that I bought Jong-woo a villa? Now you're making up these ghost stories about our daughter dying? How ridiculous. Your anger is useless because I earned all the money, and I'll spend it however I like. I didn't want to hear any more of her nonsense. I hung up the phone and leaned weakly against the wall. Jong-woo's existence in this marriage was like a lump of excrement in a water jar, constantly exuding disgust. I had been married to her for 10 years, and they had been disgusting me for the same length of time. Every time my relationship with Liu Ryan started to improve, Jong-woo would always appear at the right moment. As long as he was around, Shishi and I would always be the ones who were abandoned. I always used the excuse of giving my daughter a complete family to maintain the fragile marriage. But in reality, it was simply because of the huge sunk costs and emotional investment of these 10 years, which made it hard for me to accept letting her go just like that. I slowly slid to the ground, and in a maddened frenzy, I slapped myself across the face. I hated my own helplessness and cowardice. I hated being so overly immersed in emotions. I hated how I had easily severed my future path, wasting my life away on household chores. I gently caressed Shiji's photo and made a silent vow to make those who had hurt her pay the price. I contacted my good brother, Juning, a top lawyer, and had him draft a divorce agreement for me. Seeing that I was finally willing to struggle free from the mire, he was greatly pleased. He immediately arranged a place for me to stay. I held the divorce agreement and opened the door to Liu Ryan's villa. Before I could even step into the living room, I heard a familiar voice. Ryan, it's all my fault. I've caused you more trouble. Huo Yaoji must hate me now. Seeing Jong-woo's restless expression, Liu Ryan immediately felt heartbroken. Never mind. If you don't have a penny, you'll be forced to sleep on the streets. Jong-woo gave a faint smile. Huo Guangzhe is so handsome. Even if he doesn't take the initiative, he won't stop other women from falling for him. Sure enough, Liu Ryan's face darkened when she heard this. Then I'll just deduct all of Shiji's living expenses. Let's see if he dares to speak up. If you hadn't reminded me that the child needs independence, how could Shishi possibly travel alone by train? She's growing up so quickly. And you have a part in that. Jong-woo smiled lightly. I'm only doing this for Shiji's own good. I'm just worried that Huo Yaoji might not understand my intentions. I stood at the door, feeling a chill all over my body. I always thought Liu Ryan was just being irrational, torturing both me and Shishi in this senseless way. But I didn't expect it to be Jong-woo's doing all along. A storm was brewing inside me, and if I had a knife in my hand, I wouldn't know who to strike first. At this moment, they finally noticed me standing at the door. Seeing my pale face, Liu Ryan showed an impatient expression. You've got some guts now, staying out all night. Where did you get the money from? Didn't you go to pick up Shishi? Where is she? I looked at the woman in front of me with hollow eyes. I've already told you. Shishi died on the way back to the country. I shot a sharp glance at the two of them. It's because of you two that she's dead. Liu Ryan's dark eyes flickered with a mocking gleam. Huo Yao, you're 32. Not 23. Can you stop telling these childish lies to make yourself feel important? Instead of acting like a clown here, why don't you think about how to improve yourself? Stop just growing wrinkles and not your brain. Liu Ryan's words stabbed my heart like a knife. She is dead, and I have no reason to stay anymore. I calmly placed the divorce agreement on the table. I turned around and went to the bedroom to pack my things. This is no longer our home. Dad will take you to a place that belongs only to the two of us. At this moment, I heard the sound of something being smashed from the living room. Liu Ryan's angry and bitter voice echoed behind me. What are you making a scene for now? Threatening me with divorce? But do you even have the capital for that? A man with no money, no career, and no future. What makes you think any woman would want you? She casually threw the divorce agreement on the floor, as if dismissing me. Consider this the last time. I picked up the divorce agreement and placed it in front of her. Sign it! Liu Ryan's face was filled with disbelief. In her mind, I loved her more than anything. She couldn't fathom that I could ever say the words divorce. Jongwoo immediately moved to hold her arm. Ryan, don't be angry. I heard Huo Yao's childhood friend, Shen Meng, has returned. Maybe they were just catching up last night. Back then, when you went abroad, Huo Yang proposed to you right after. Such a childish remark. I don't mean anything bad. But I wonder if you've been keeping us as backup. I quickly covered my mouth in panic. Oops. Did I say something wrong? Huo Yao, don't be angry. I just speak my mind without thinking. At this moment, Liu Ryan's eyes turned red. She slapped me hard. You suddenly want a divorce. So you found someone else? Huo Ke, you really are something. After all these years, you're still thinking about her? Back then, why were you so eager to marry me? Was it because you were keeping me as a backup? Didn't you say Shishi? She's better off dead. A child who isn't loved has no meaning in living. I was furious. Every breath I took felt like suffocating pain. I loved her so humbly for 10 years. Gave her everything I had. Now she insults my character. And even speaks so callously about our deceased daughter. He killed Shishi, yet plays the victim. How ironic! With all my strength, I picked up my hand and slapped Liu Ryan hard across the face. Unexpectedly, Jongwoo rushed in at that moment. I didn't have time to hold back. The slap landed heavily on his face. Ryan, don't blame Huo Yao. It's all my fault for not keeping my mouth shut. Jongwoo endured, covering his face, trying not to let the tears fall. Liu Ryan, heartbroken, embraced Jongwoo, her eyes filled with a tenderness I hadn't seen in a long time. She walked up to me and slapped me again hard across my face. I was on the ground, blood trickling from the corner of my mouth. Although I had already given up on this relationship, it still felt like a heavy blow to my face. The pain, both physical and emotional, was unbearable. She stomped on my stomach with her high heels, making me curl up in agony. Then the bodyguard's hard fists began to rain down on me. I curled up in the corner, silent. After a long time, I collapsed on the ground. Finally, they stopped, seeing me like a lifeless corpse. She froze, her expression stiff. I lost control of my emotions just now. I didn't mean to have you beaten like this. Ryan, my head hurts. Jongwoo fainted once again in Liu Ryan's arms. She gently picked him up. her face filled with worrying as she looked at him. "Jongwoo, don't be afraid. I'll take you to the hospital." She turned to look at me. Her gaze softened. "You shouldn't have laid a hand on Jong today. Wait here. I'll take Jongwoo to the hospital and then come back to bring you medicine." She seemed almost regretful. Naturally, she would never return. I could feel time slipping away. The sky outside, which had once been blue, was now covered in stars. I finally regained some strength. I called an ambulance at 120. The results of the examination weren't good. My nasal bone was fractured. 2 ribs were broken. There were various soft tissue contusions all over my body. When Juning hurriedly arrived and saw me like this, he cursed Liu Ryan's ancestors up and down. I looked coldly at the bruises and wounds on my body. I had Juning take photos of them. These would be my weapons to seek justice for Zixi. I lay in the hospital for 7 days. During that time, Liu Ryan took Jongwoo to see the aurora, something I had once wanted to see but never had the chance. She spent 80 million to buy Jongwoo a yacht, just so he could watch the sunrise at sea whenever he wanted. She even took him to attend various high society parties. The two of them held hands intimately, smiling at the cameras. These topics trended online for an entire week. The buzz was unrelenting. The world knew that Liu Ryan and her childhood friend were in an ambiguous relationship for many years, soon to be officially together. But no one knew that she had long been in a hidden marriage for 10 years. She was about to divorce. My heart contracted violently. The dull pain left me gasping for air, unable to speak. I put down my phone. I booked a ticket for a flight. It was as if I were saying goodbye to the younger version of myself. This marriage, the one I had sacrificed so much for, I am a complete loser. At that moment, I received a call from the funeral home. They told me that Zixi's body had been processed. They asked me to come collect her ashes. When I came out of the funeral home, a crowd suddenly rushed out from the entrance. They took out their phones and started snapping pictures of my face. Family members, "You're a big shot now." Finally got the man who's the mistress of the Liu Group's president. He's not even a real mistress. He's just a fool who seduced the CEO. Exactly. Liu Ryan and young Master Zhang are childhood sweethearts. How dare he show his face around here? I glanced at the barrage of comments on my phone. They were filled with insults directed at me. That's when I realized that over the past couple of days, with the rising heat between Liu Ryan and Jongwoo, I had also made it to the trending list. But the photos circulating were all of me trailing behind her. With eyes full of longing, Liu Ryan walked ahead, her expression unreadable. I never imagined these could be used as evidence against me. Because the company's business included celebrity incubation, which relied on heat, her public persona was always that of a single, stunning, wealthy female CEO. Now, with the heat around her, the public's attention on her rivaled that of a celebrity. I was getting increasingly irritated by these inexplicable people. I coldly spoke up. "I am Liu Ryan's legal husband. If you continue spreading rumors, I'll call the police." I quickly pulled out the photo of my marriage certificate with Liu Ryan from my phone. A burst of laughter came from the crowd. This guy must be delusional. How dare he claim to be Liu's husband? Oh my god. The act is so convincing. They even photoshopped the marriage certificate. The lead male streamer glared at me with intense hostility. Young Master Zhang is magnanimous enough not to argue with you. But in our live stream, we're all about getting rid of the mistress, for the sake of restoring the husband's dignity. For someone this shameless and vile, what should we do with him? The people in the live stream seemed to be on adrenaline, excitedly shouting for them to strip me of my clothes. I pulled out my phone to call the police, but it was immediately slapped out of my hand. The group rushed toward me, punching and kicking. Each kick landed heavily on my body, causing my already broken ribs to fracture again. They ripped off my outer clothes, cut off my hair, and started writing insults on my exposed skin with a pen. Male dog, junk, and other degrading words. Blood seeped from my mouth and nose, and I helplessly screamed for help. But once people heard it was about a mistress being beaten, they all stepped back, avoiding any involvement. Some nosy bystanders even took out their phones to live stream this twisted drama. In that moment, I truly understood what despair felt like. I clutched Zixie's urn tightly to my chest, refusing to let go even as they tortured me in every way imaginable. I had no idea how much time passed, but my vision started to blur. This is the feeling of being on the brink of death. Suddenly, I heard a sharp voice. Liu Zong is here. I struggled to open my eyes and saw the high heels I had waited a month to customize. My panic and fear instantly settled. Even though she may have no feelings left for me and only disdain, I believed she would never just watch me die without helping. Liu Ryan, call the police for me. These people are spreading rumors that I'm your mistress, and they're live streaming it online. Please help clear things up. The once arrogant streamer's face turned pale, his voice stammering in response. Liu, she's really your wife? Liu Ryan slowly squatted down, looking at me from above. When a person is at their lowest, they often hold on to unrealistic fantasies. I slowly stretched out my hand to her, my feelings of grievance pouring out. Help me! Liu Ryan's gaze drifted over my body, her eyes flickering before she finally gave a cold smile. How amusing! To think you'd use such a desperate trick to grab attention. Interesting. In an instant, the air around me seemed to freeze. My lips trembled, and I stared at her in disbelief. I've been beaten to this state. How could you think I'm faking it? Then what else? Liu Ryan's eyes were filled with contempt. Did you really think I'd fall for this? You went to all this trouble just because I've been trending with Jongmu recently, didn't you? He's a young man trying to break into the internet world but lacks connections. If I didn't help him build momentum, how could he possibly get attention? Huo Yao, you've got to know your limits with jealousy. Why can't you stand Jongmu so much? These questions came at me one after another, leaving me stunned, and with no ability to fight back. Liu Ryan said in a voice only the two of us could hear, "You've been very naughty lately. Time and again, you challenge my bottom line. You should learn a lesson." At this point, the nearby streamer watched us warily. The bullet comments on the live stream were flying fast. What's going on? Is this guy really Liu Zong's husband? Is he really her husband? The streamer, now looking at the situation with growing anxiety, couldn't hide his fear. His legs were shaking uncontrollably. Liu Zong, is he really? Liu Ryan stood up from the ground. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. I've never been married. Where would I get a husband from? If you're going to beat him, you should do it properly. Any man who tries to grab my attention doesn't even care if you beat him into a pulp. His only goal is to get my attention. Hearing my words, the leading streamer's expression suddenly changed. He stomped over and slapped me hard across the face, spitting out a foul, sardine mouthful of saliva. You shameless dog. How dare you call yourself Liu Zong's husband? Someone like you, who destroys other people's relationships, a mistress like you, deserves this. At that moment, my body was covered in wounds, with flesh hanging off, looking like mouths crying out in agony. He took a packet of salt out of his bag and poured it into my wounds. The burning pain made me scream in agony. Liu Ryan stood there, frowning, watching me being tortured in every way possible. Love, in the end, leaves you with nothing. I collapsed to the ground, starting to laugh uncontrollably. The blood at the corners of my mouth mixed with my tears, dripping down onto the ground. The internet celebrities around me looked uneasy. I laughed. You bastard, stop laughing. Then, like a mad dog, he kept pounding me. I had lost the strength to resist, only managing to tightly protect Shiji's urn. One of the male internet celebrities noticed and kicked the urn away. What's so precious about this thing? It must be worth a lot. Well, let's smash it and teach you the consequences of being a mistress. With that, he raised the golf club they had brought with them and slammed it down with all his might. No! I let out a heart-wrenching scream. Using all the strength I had left, I protected the urn. I'm sorry. It's Daddy's fault. While you were alive, I didn't have the ability to protect you properly. Now, even if I have to sacrifice my life, I won't let anyone hurt you again. Crack! I heard the sound of my spine breaking as it snapped under the force. The golf club struck my head. It fell heavily onto my back. My head cracked open. Blood spurted out, covering half of my face. I lay flat on the ground. I twitched slightly. My gaze fixed stiffly on the front. The crowd let out a collective scream. Someone's dead. The male internet celebrity was stunned. In panic, he dropped the golf club. He ran toward it himself. It's not my fault. He's dead, but that's not my problem. He quickly ran off, faster than a rabbit. When he saw me lying still on the ground, Liu Ryan's face changed. Huo Yao, enough of the theatrics. Stop pretending, get up and come home with me. Huo Yao. But I could no longer respond to him. I couldn't give him any answer anymore. To you. Why go this far just to fight with me like this? I promised I'd meet with Jongwoo less. Stop making a scene. Then, with a faint sarcastic smile. You brought this on yourself. No one can kill you now, can they? Stop pretending. You're getting smarter. You figured out this trick doesn't work on me. So now you're playing dead to get out of it. I won't say anything. I held tightly onto Shishi. Liu Ryan saw my face covered in blood. She sighed, trying to lift me up. At that moment, her phone rang again. At the perfect timing. Ryan, where are you? Today, I'm here to check on the office renovations. I never expected the cleaning lady to say I was handsome and then actually touch my ass. I'm so scared. Liu Ruyan's eyes suddenly showed an unprecedented mix of anger and nervousness. Damn it! These animals! Jongwoo is scared. I'm coming to save you right now. After saying that, she looked at me lying on the ground. In a soothing tone, she said, Something happened with Jongwoo. I have to go check it out. Be good. Wait here for me for a bit. Her promise was as cheap as my place in her heart. But I didn't want to die yet. Now, the place was completely empty. I had no idea when I'd be discovered again. At least she should have called for an ambulance. My hand no longer had any strength. I could only bite her heel with my mouth. Liu Ruyan's steps were briefly blocked. When she turned back to look at me, there was again a glint of satisfaction in her eyes. Didn't I tell you Jongwoo is in danger right now? You're a man too. Don't you know how much damage this kind of thing can cause to a boy? I thought my concession would make you realize where you went wrong. I never expected you to still be so unrepentant. I should have let them kill you earlier. She immediately broke free from my grip. Turning around, she walked away. In her hurry. When she pulled away, her foot landed on my face. She paused for a moment, but didn't stop for me. I slowly closed my eyes, feeling my life slip away bit by bit. Finally, everything went black. I completely passed out. When I woke up again, Shenming and Juning were both in front of me. Don't speak yet. Fortunately, we got you to the hospital in time. Otherwise, if your spine had been broken for too long, you'd be paralyzed for life. Juning raised the bed and adjusted me into a more comfortable position. I was curious about how I ended up in the hospital. Baining, a grown man, had tears welling up in his eyes from concern. Shenming has wanted to meet with you since she returned to the country, but she was afraid that meeting you alone would cause trouble for you. So I thought I'd organize something. I tried contacting you for a long time, but couldn't find you. Then I saw the location you automatically shared when you took a taxi, and that's when I realized you went to the crematorium. We both felt something was off, so we decided to go pick you up. When we got there, we found you lying in a remote mountain area. Your body was already stiff. Shenming tightly pressed her lips together. You were in the ICU for a full 3 days before we managed to bring you back to life. During that time, the incident of you being beaten online caused a huge uproar. Some people, who don't know the full story, are even saying you deserved it. Liu Ruyan, that beast, actually dared to degrade you like this. I won't let her off. Juning's eyes were filled with fierce determination. He handed me the disability assessment report. And those madmen who beat you, not one of them will get away. As for Liu Ruyan, I will use all my knowledge and skills to fight her to the bitter end. She will pay the price she deserves. The two of them grew angrier as they spoke. They rushed out the door to find her and Zhang Wu to settle the score. I stopped them. Juning was furious, feeling like a teacher scolding a hopeless student. This woman for Zhang Wu killed Zixi and almost killed you too. Don't tell me you still love her. I looked at him with a sharp, fierce gaze. Of course not. When you strike your enemy, you must do so with a fatal blow. Otherwise, it's just stirring up the grass and alerting the snake. Shenmeng, who had calmed down, spoke to me. What do you need us to do? I smiled and looked at them. Shenmeng, I still need your help with this matter. During this time, Liu Ruyan contacted me twice. She asked me when I would come home. Each time, I only responded with 2 words. Divorce. She cursed me for being ungrateful. After 10 years of marriage, why was I still messing around? She said I was selfish. Can divorce be something you just say? Once we separate, Zixi will become a child from a single-parent family. Can you bear to let her not have a complete family? I sneered. She still knows she's a mother? If she's so concerned about Zixi's feelings, why does she keep buying things that make her sad? She no longer loves me, yet still won't let me go. 10 years, she enjoyed my meticulous care. But she still despised me as just a house husband. But she forgot. When we started our business, I also fought through the thorns and difficulties until my career began to show signs of improvement. Her father fell ill at the same time. Zixi was still young. She asked me to stabilize everything and hand over the company to her to manage. After draining all the value I had to offer, she no longer respected me. She even openly flirted with Zhang Wu. She didn't want to lose a free nanny she had used for 10 years. And she couldn't bear to part with her childhood friendship with Zhang Wu. She wanted it all. In the end, the one who would suffer the most is her. If Zixi hadn't died, I would have woken up from this whirlpool and drowned in it. But now, I only want to seek justice for the years of grievances Zixi and I suffered. Just as the online exposure of my situation was burning up, Zhang Wu's influencer company had its grand opening. This wave of attention was unprecedented. Influencers from all over rushed to cling to him and do live streams. Everyone was enviously admiring Liu Ruyan's pampering of Zhang Wu. They all scrambled to ask her if something good was coming soon. Liu Ruyan gave Zhang Wu a flirtatious glance, but didn't speak. Instead, Zhang Wu, holding her arm, shyly said, "Secret." That one sentence immediately sparked a wave of excitement among the crowd. I sat in a wheelchair, wearing sunglasses, hidden in a corner. I silently kept track of the time. At that moment, a local small influencer suddenly approached the stage. She shoved her phone right in Liu Ruyan's face. "Miss Liu, as far as I know, you've been married for 10 years already. And there's another matter. You spent a fortune on Zhang Shaoai. You wouldn't spend 8,000 to buy your daughter a plane ticket back home. As a result, she was tortured to death while transiting by train. Your husband was mistaken for a mistress when he went to collect your daughter's ashes and was beaten nearly to the point of disability. And you just stood by, watching coldly. You even said things to encourage them to be even harsher. Doesn't this count as inciting murder?" When the small influencer mentioned that Zixi was dead, Liu Ruyan's face instantly turned pale. But after a moment, she regained her composure. She hadn't even spoken yet. But the people around her were beginning to react. When did Miss Liu get married? You should at least have some limits when spreading rumors. They've been childhood sweethearts with Zhang Xiaoai. Where did this husband come from? Are you the mistress, my patrol? The influencer directly showed the marriage certificate between me and Liu Ruyan, and even pulled out a photocopy. Each page was clearly stamped with the Civil Affairs Bureau seal. Now it was their turn to be stunned. So it wasn't the mistress they beat that day. It was the legitimate wife. Liu Ruyan had been married all along but still claimed to be single. Zhang Wu was in the dark about everything. The situation blew up. Oh my god! Her husband was almost beaten that day. And she was still fanning the flames. She's still at it. Liu Ruyan's face turned a deep shade of blue. She gritted her teeth in anger. Yes, I am married. So what? Zhang Wu and I are just friends. Everything else is just your imagination. She walked up to the small influencer. It was Huo Guang who told you to come and stir things up during Zhang Wu's opening, wasn't it? Then please tell him. If he wants a divorce, he can keep making trouble, but don't make jokes about my daughter's death. If you push me too far, I'll make sure you end up in prison. The influencer smiled mockingly. Since you love your daughter so much, she called you dozens of times while she was being tortured abroad. Send over 100 voice messages. What were you doing at that time? Were you busy cultivating your relationship with your friend? Liu Ruyan's face turned ashen. Her breathing became uneven. Shut up! If you keep talking nonsense, I'll kill you. At that moment, the bullet comments exploded. Damn! What's going on here? So Zhang Wu is the one behind the small account. The president of a company can't even spare money to buy his child a plane ticket? Letting the child take a train through a war-torn country? Has she lost her mind? At the same time, some people were trying to clear her name. I don't believe a company president would do something like this. Clearly, someone is trying to lead the narrative. Don't believe it, everyone. As people grew more skeptical, the influencer pulled out another set of evidence. It was a video of Liu Ruyan imprisoning me, Zixi's death report, and the chat logs recovered. From Zixi's phone, Zixi made a total of 83 calls to Liu Ruyan, but not one of them was answered. Over 100 voice messages. Except for the first one, the rest were unread. Zixi sent message after message. When she first said she was kidnapped, she was scolded. You little brat, always spreading rumors with your mouth. It's just that I didn't buy you a plane ticket. How could you use a kidnapping to try and scam me? I've told you so many times. Don't be so vain, kids. You only know how to spend money. I'm still meeting with Uncle Zhang Wu tonight. Stop sending me messages all the time. Then, Zixi's messages forever stopped at that point. The influencer connected her phone to Bluetooth, and Zixi's desperate screams and agonizing cries echoed through the speakers. There were also the twisted, lewd, and excited laughter of the perverts during the abuse. The people present were moved to tears upon hearing it. Only Liu Ruyan stood still, her eyes bloodshot, frozen in place. After a long while, she seemed to snap out of her trance. She frantically tried to call me, but I didn't answer the call. Instead, I arrived at the venue in a wheelchair, accompanied by Juning and Shen Meng. When the crowd saw me, there was an uproar. Liu Ruyan saw me. Her lips trembled uncontrollably. After a long pause, she finally squeezed out a sentence from between her teeth. You lied to me, didn't you? Zixi is still alive. She's just angry with me, right? Tears welled up in her eyes. Her expression was frantic. I want to see Zixi. We won't study abroad anymore. I'll buy her the most beautiful clothes, the most expensive jewelry. I'll pamper her into the happiest little princess in the world. I'll give her all my love. A faint smile of mockery appeared on my face as I threw Zixi's death certificate at her face. It's too late. On the big screen, a photo of Zixi's body before cremation appeared. Her body was covered in horrifying wounds. The degree of perversity made everyone present gasp in shock. My tears had long since flowed. I stared ahead blankly. Liu Ruyin stared at the photos in disbelief. Suddenly, she squatted down, holding her head, trembling all over. I threw the divorce agreement in front of her, looking down at her from above. If you have a shred of conscience, sign it immediately. From now on, you can take care of Jong-woo however you want. You are free to choose. Liu Ruyin grabbed the agreement. Without even looking at it, she tore it up. I won't divorce. We've been together for so many years. We've been through so much. How can we just give up? I looked at her coldly. Then what? Not divorcing means I'll watch you and Jong-woo be intimate every day. Endure your sarcastic remarks, and then be grateful for the occasional tenderness you throw my way? Liu Ruyin bit her lip with difficulty. It's not like that. I admit I've been a jerk before. I never intended to hurt you or the child. We're still young. We will have more children. The crowd couldn't bear her nonsense anymore. Someone threw a bottle of mineral water at her. Scumbag, trash, just die already. Liu Ruyin shook her head nonstop. Why? At this moment, a shout came from the crowd. Help! Mr. Shen, help! It was the internet celebrity who had beaten me that day. In just a few days. He looked haggard and knelt before Jong-woo, pointing at me. Mr. Jong, didn't you say that no matter if you killed this man, you could make sure I wouldn't go to jail? Now he's suing me. I'll have to pay millions in compensation. Please, you need to save me. Under Liu Ruyin's murderous glare, Jong-woo stepped back. You messed up yourself. Don't drag others into it. It has nothing to do with me. The internet celebrity pulled out their chat logs. How does it have nothing to do with you? I'm the one who hit him, but I was just following your orders. Jong-woo irritably tossed his phone aside. I told you to do something. You did it. I told you to die. Why didn't you die? The male internet celebrity was enraged. He grabbed a knife and charged at Jong-woo. You scumbag man. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Of course. Jong-woo didn't die. He was just disfigured. Liu Ruyin glared at him furiously. It's you. It was you. Soon, the police arrived. Mr. Shen, did you plan the assault on Mr. Huo? The assessment has reached a level 1 disability. Come with us. Jong-woo suddenly collapsed at Liu Ruyin's feet, crying and begging her to save him. Liu Ruyin kicked him away. Juning glared at Liu Ruyin. Juning stared at Liu Ruyin. After watching your precious Jong-woo almost get beaten to death, you thought he was just playing for attention? Really impressive. This series of twists and turns left Liu Ruyin at a loss. She wanted to touch me, but didn't dare. Yao, I'm sorry. I always thought you couldn't stand MYW, so you were messing with me. Standing behind me, Shen Ming couldn't hold back anymore. She jumped in front of Liu Ruyin, pointing her finger at her and shouting, Is your brain filled with water? Who would ask someone to beat themselves up just for that little bit of pity attention? Who do you think you are? Big chest, no brain. Back then, you were nothing. Jong-woo went abroad and got married. Now that he's been scammed out of all his money, he remembers you, this big fool. You've been blinded by oil, blocking pearls with sand. You even lost your own daughter's life in the process. How can someone like you even exist in this world? Liu Ruyin stood there, ignoring all of Shen Ming's insults without replying. She wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and walked over to my side. A2, please give me a chance to make it up to you. I coldly looked at her. Divorcing me would be the biggest form of compensation. From then on, Liu Ruyin clung to me like a sticky bandage. That day, she once again brought flowers to my place, doing everything she used to do when we were in love. She knelt in front of me, trying to buy what she couldn't afford herself. A2, I really love you. We've been through tough times together. You saw me at my lowest point. So I always feel inferior in front of you. Then Jongwoo came back to the country. His admiration for me gave me a sense of achievement. And seeing you hurt and sad for me, I finally felt like I regained some confidence in front of you. I don't dare to hope for your forgiveness anymore. I just hope you won't leave me. I sighed. Then come with me. I led her into the bedroom, quickly locking the door. Soon, the room was filled with heart-wrenching screams. 2 hours later, I opened the door. Liu Ruyan was lying on the floor, trembling. She immediately covered her mouth and ran to the bathroom, vomiting incessantly. I pointed to the huge LCD TV in the room. Open your damn eyes and see clearly. It's because of you that Shishi was tortured like this. What right do you have to beg for our forgiveness? In the past, I kept the photos to bloody and cruel for Shishi's dignity, but I didn't release them. Clearly, these things have hit her hard. Liu Ruyan slouched her shoulders and remained silent. I pressed my lips to her ear. We don't need your compensation. If you feel sorry, go apologize to Shishi in person. I paused. Don't hope. When you die, you'll go to hell. Well, Shishi will be in heaven. You will never get her forgiveness. Liu Ruyan's face turned pale, her chest heaving for a long time. She spat out a mouthful of blood. She didn't say anything further. Trembling, she left my place. With Juning's help, I filed for divorce in court. On the day of the trial, Liu Ruyan had lost all her former glow. Her hair was gray. The divorce process was smooth. I got half of the assets. After leaving the courthouse, I heard her calling me from behind. Ow! I'm sorry. I only paused for a moment, then kept walking, never looking back. 10 years later, I had become the richest man in the area through my own efforts. I adopted several children. While Liu Ruyan's reputation had been ruined after our divorce, her career suffered a major blow. She fell into despair, became a heavy drinker, and got liver cancer. She said her days were numbered, and sent word asking to meet me one last time. I refused. If she felt regret, then let her die with that regret. The next time I heard of her, it was on the news. She ran over and killed someone while driving near the prison gates. And that person was Jongwoo. Before Liu Ruyan died, she transferred her only property to me, along with a letter. It only contained 3 words. Sorry, but I would never say it's okay. I stood in front of Shishi's grave, tearing it apart. The pieces were carried away by the wind. The end.